New England, where he formerly played for the New England Revolution. As you know, today's training session, 4:30, is open the entire time to media from 4:30 to 5:30, and we will have a mixed zone availability afterwards. Bob, if you wouldn't mind giving your thoughts on tomorrow night's match against Spain.
You know, the opportunity to play the world champions is special to all of us. And when you think about what Spain has accomplished in recent years, their success, the way they play, the number of great players, it's a great test for us. Obviously, the last time we played was a special night for us, and a game that you know, we're all very proud of. A game where, you know, in a semifinal with something on the line, we played very well and beat a great team, and yet, you know, we left the field that night with total respect for Spain, the way they played, the way they were after the game, and I think we continue to see what they're all about every time they step on the field. So it's another great opportunity in that regard.
If you wouldn't mind raising your hands if you have a question. Steve?
Bob, how do you, can you talk about how you balance this big occasion, playing Spain, with the reality that you have a, you know, much more consequential game a few days from now, and how you go about in your approach to this match with Tuesday in mind as well?
Sure. I mean, as a starting point, we are thinking a lot about how to find a balance in this regard, and I think you know, we would plan on using all 6 subs. The likelihood is that those 6 substitutions all get used on the field. Okay, and so the flip side to that is you have to have a plan also for 4 guys that are going to play 90 minutes. And so, you know, it's a little bit, as we've gone through all the different things, and we joke, it's a little bit like doing a Sudoku, where, you know, we keep putting certain things down, and then we get to the end, and then there's 2 9s in the same line, so we have to start over. You know, it's important that we can use, you know, look, that we step on the field against a great team, that we play well. There's things we want to work on, but at the same time, we have to, based upon where we are with each player, how much he's played, how he feels as he's gone through the week, make decisions that will fit the Gold Cup and everything that's coming up.
Frank?
And Bob, can you talk about Benny? Did you talk to him, and you know, how much did that change your plans that he went out, you know, right at the end there?
Incredibly disappointing for him. I thought that you know, he had settled in well with New England. I thought in particular the last couple of games there were very good ones for him. And, you know, fluky injury. So a player that we were counting on for sure is likely out. And I think all of us feel, we're disappointed for him, because he's a player that's done well with us in the past. And yet now most important for him is just doing the work and getting back on the field.
Rivera de Leoy from Ecuador. How do you do, Coach? How do you find the progress of your team that has been made during this year, in compared to the time when you were at the World Cup?
That's a very good question. You know, when the World Cup is over, moving forward, figuring out now the right group of players that you want to start to move into the team, making sure that some of the players that have been important in the past still feel good about what we're doing, building on things. Those have been our challenges. You know, we've had an opportunity, we've played good teams, so we've had an opportunity to see some different players in different situations, and so I think it all puts us in a good position as we enter the Gold Cup.
May I continue? do you have most of your team players at the moment playing here in the U.S. in the with MLS, or do you have them spread throughout the other parts of the world?
What's our breakdown?
For this game, 16-6.
So, at this time, there's still a good number of players like Clint who are playing overseas, but, when you look at our bigger pool, there still are a good number of players that are in MLS, and that's been very, very important for us, that players coming through MLS get their chances with the national team. So, again, since the end of the World Cup, two examples, Tim Ream and Juan Agudelo, players that had finished the season strong for the Red Bulls last year, and players that now we've had a chance to bring into the national team, and both on the roster for this Gold Cup.
We should also congratulate Clint today. He was voted Fulham Player of the Year after scoring 12 goals and setting a record both for an American and all-time leading scorer for Fulham in the English Premier League. Later.
Yeah, Bob,
You just found out?
I did, I've been doing all this media stuff over there, I'm burnt out.
Bob, I know it's awkward with him sitting right there, but could you talk about your relationship with Clint, your confidence in him, and the importance of showing confidence in a guy like him?
No, it's easy to talk about Clint because I appreciate what he's about as a player, what he's about as a person. He's a competitor, he's a winner, he's honest. I think that we've had a good chance to get to know each other in the last 5 years, and one of the things that's always going through your mind as a coach is that when you're playing against good teams, and now you put a lineup together, that feeling that the guys that are stepping on the field are guys that you can count on. And Clint's always been one of those guys, and that's why, again, he's respected so much within our team, and obviously the case at Fulham as well.
Thank you.
Did that cover it for you?
No, I just,
Okay. Brian.
Thanks. Clint, congrats on the award. Very cool. Over the past, you obviously had a great season, and I was wondering if you could talk a bit about, Bob was asked how the team has changed over the past year. Have you developed at all, with maybe more offensive responsibilities at Fulham, or, have you changed as a player over the past year? And also, you're at a club that, strives for, you think about maybe finishing in a Europa League spot, mid-table, that kind of thing. I mean, clubs in England are sort of stratified based upon their financial abilities. Do you think about where your development as a player is, and whether it's a good idea to move to a bigger club, or just staying at a club like that has only limited ambition? Does that sort of stunt development at some point?
I don't think too much has changed really in my game. I just continue to work hard every season and try to better myself. Under Mark Hughes, we had a little bit more attacking freedom, but still, when you're playing left mid, which is the position I played majority of the time, you still have your defensive responsibilities. So I think last year I could have probably hit similar numbers. I was out for 8 weeks, but no, I think that I'm continuing to better myself, to improve, work hard. In regards to Fulham, I'm there for 2 more years, so I'm just going to make the most of where I'm at. If one day, I get the opportunity to play for a big club in Champions League, well, that would be great. I'd lie if I say that wasn't a dream. But at the same time, you have to make the most of where you are, and, I'm with Fulham for 2 more years, and we finished 8th, and we got through fair play the qualifications for Europa League. So, looking forward, right now, the main target is the U.S. team in this Gold Cup, and making sure that we get the result we want, and that's to win this tournament. That's what the main focus is, and then, get back into camp, back into preseason with Fulham, and take care of things there.
And you still feel at a club like Fulham that there's something left to accomplish, that there's something left this club can do or you can do there?
Yeah, there's always things to do wherever you are, but there's when I'm with Fulham for 2 years, I'm not gonna. There's not always greener grass, on the other side. So grass isn't always greener, but you have to make the most of where you are. And right now I'm at Fulham, and we've done some great things there, and I think we'll continue to do that because as long as I'm there, I'm gonna continue doing everything I can to help the team win. And the more people you have like that, I think you're gonna start to do well.
Great, thanks so much.
Bob, can you talk about kind of the opportunity to play Spain here? I know you've played them elsewhere in the world before, but to actually have them over here, and a lot of tickets got sold real fast. I'm sure in part due to their play.
Sure. Plain and simple, it's great for fans in the United States because not only has, I said it earlier, has Spain been successful world champions, but their style, their way of playing, the talented individuals. It's a team that soccer people get excited to watch, whether it's on television, but to have them right here, I think is really special.
And could you comment about Iniesta, just his play? I know Xavi won't be here, but Iniesta will be here, and I take it will be playing.
Yeah, Iniesta won't be playing. I'm told that the reason Xavi is not here is that there's a rule in Spain that once you've completed 10,000 passes in one season, you're not allowed to play anymore that year. So that ruled him out. But if that were true, then Iniesta's probably about 9,500, so he's got 500 left. I mean, he's a really fun player to watch. He's skillful, he's mobile. He's shown an ability still to get in spots and score goals. And again, all of us watched Barcelona a lot this year, and to see the way Xavi and Iniesta and Messi, the understanding on the field and what they're all able to do, yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Speaking of tickets, we're now at 61,000 sold, so 6,500 left for tomorrow afternoon's match. Kyle?
How does the particular challenge of playing against Spain help you prepare for the Gold Cup, where the task is kind of a little bit different?
Yes, I mean, I'm not sure, other than an opportunity to play against a good team, an opportunity to, work again, I mean, on the idea that when we have the ball, how intelligently and well can we move it around? When we lose the ball, how do we react? How do we try to get it back? Anybody, any team that plays against Spain, any team that plays against Barcelona, on that day, the challenge of just trying to get the ball is more difficult than any other day. Look at again, what Man United was up against. So, you have to understand what the game will be like. When we've played Spain in the past, we, I think, have had a good sense as to how to try to prevent them from coming through the middle so easily. We've certainly talked always about the importance then when we get the ball of moving it and making them defend. I think any team that plays against Spain, Barcelona, it's pretty hard to get it to 50-50, but you always shoot for that. And so these are challenges that may not be exactly the same in some of the games that are coming up in the Gold Cup, but nonetheless, lessons still that hopefully will help us.
Steve?
Clint, did you, after the U.S. was eliminated last summer in South Africa, did you watch the Spain games, the rest of the World Cup? Did you?
To be honest with you, no, I didn't. After the World Cup, I shut the engine down mentally and physically, and I just went back to Texas for half the time and back to North Carolina and just did some fishing with my dad and family. So a lot of people may not know my grandpa died the day of the Ghana game. So it was just about being with family, and that's where my mind was after World Cup.
So what are your impressions of Spain, and what, I guess, impresses you the most about the way they played from the times you have been able to watch them?
Yeah, I mean, the same things that Bob has said. I mean, they're a team that, know how to keep possession well. They're a tough team to get the ball from. The team has a lot of possession and have people, the movement they have around in the attacking third to create chances for themselves. It's world class. So we just got to make sure that we manage the game well, and we're confident in possession, and we try to take the game to them as well. And kind of see how it goes.
Great.
For Clint, I missed the first couple minutes here, but I don't know if you've been asked about winning Fulham's Player of the Year today. Stuart Holden also won Player of the Year for Bolton. To have two Americans win Player of the Year on an English Premier League team, does that say anything about Americans in the Premier League and where it's going?
Yeah, I mean, it says a move in the right direction, so that's good. I mean, Stewie had a great year. Unfortunately, he picked up that injury. We could have really used him this summer in the Gold Cup, but he'll be back strong again next season. Yeah, it's good that more Americans are starting to do well in Europe, and especially in the Premier League. So, I was excited to find out that I had won that award, and now it's about working hard and trying to replicate what I did this season.
Clint, there was a time where playing a team like Spain would have been a huge opportunity for American players, but it's almost for you and a guy like Stuart, you do it every week now. Has it changed the way you go into games against teams like this, where it might have been different, say, 4 or 5 years ago for you or for anybody?
I think there's a little difference, but it's still exciting when you play against a great team. When a team has some of the best players in the world on it, you still look forward to that. In the sense of the importance of the game, I think the more experience you get, you start to realize that the main challenge for us is the Gold Cup and how we do it, and that's where our mind has consistently been. We want to work on things and make sure that we can take positives from the Spain game, but like it's titled, it is just a friendly, but you still get excited about these type of games.
Great.
Clint, can you talk about when you first came here? You were always a pretty confident player, but when did you realize that you could play at the level that you're playing now?
You just keep working hard, and every year you get more and more confidence as you start to improve. From the World Cup in '06 to getting the transition to Fulham, and finally getting my first goal against Liverpool in the season that saved us from relegation. Just every single year, the more games you get played, and being around that environment and dealing with the pressure of week to week of, if you're not getting the right results, you can find yourself fighting relegation. So through the struggles and through the tough times, you gain confidence, and the fact that you're able to come out of those and keep moving forward. So that's kind of been my mentality that I've kept, and I continue to push myself, and also that competitive nature of wanting to win, and the work you put in training. That's what gives you that confidence to continue to better yourself.
Good.
Can you just talk a little bit about coming back here to Foxborough and just being in familiar surroundings?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the last time I was back here, I think, was in '07. It's great to be back. There's a lot of great memories, for playing with the Revolution, playing with Steve Nicol, Paul Mariner. There were some good players here, and Steve Ralston, Taylor Twellman, Pat Noonan, Shawry Joseph, Matt Reese. We just, for the time that I was here, we had a really good team. So it's a lot of great memories, and without the Revolution, it wouldn't allow me to even play with the U.S. team or get over to Europe and play with Fulham. So I owe a lot to MLS and to playing with the Revs, and it's just good to be back here because this is where it all started. And anytime I think of this area, I always look on it with positive memories and in a positive light.
Very good.
For Clint, Spain wins most of the offensive battles in possession-wise. How challenging is that physically and mentally for an offensive player like yourself?
Yeah, you have to, there's games you're going to have to defend more than others, and you just have to be mentally tough enough to get the job done, and you know, as long as your team, everybody's working hard for each other and, you know, limiting the time and space the other team has on the ball, keeping the two solid banks of four, and defending from the front to back. I mean, as long as everybody's on the same page, well then, you know, it's not difficult. But you know, when people start to take shortcuts, that's when you get punished. So if we can keep everybody on the same page, you know, I think we are a tough team to break down.
Brian.
Bob, mostly for you, but Clint, if you have something to add. Is this Spanish team and the Barcelona team you mentioned, the challenge of playing those teams, are these teams sort of an accident of an incredible group of players that sort of came in together, or is there something about the way they're approaching the game that's going to be looked at as a bit differently over time? You know, when you look in history books and you see the way teams played in the 30s and the 50s and whatever. And is this something that a coach like you, a player like you, a club can look at and say, this is going to change the way we coach, this is going to change the sort of players we look at, this is going to change the way we approach the game? Or are these two teams, Barcelona and Spain, just kind of accidents and we won't see it again?
It's not an accident. It's Barcelona's success is a combination of its history. I mean, I coached Christos Stoichkov in Chicago, and so you know, we had a lot of conversations about what it was like playing for Johan Cruyff, and you know, at that time they called it the Dream Team. You know, I think even some of the guys on the Dream Team have said that this team now is better than they were. You know, Barcelona, though, it's a good debate. But you know, you have history and a foundation in their academy, and so players that have come through, players that understand the game, players that are technically good. For the most part, you know, again, you have a real appreciation for how they do everything. Players seem humble, you know, when you have a chance. You know, after we beat Spain in the Confederations Cup, you know, I've mentioned this story before, but Barcelona had come to the U.S. weeks later and was training at UCLA, and I was off in the corner just watching training. And when training was over, Xavi and Puyol and Pep all came over and said congratulations, and you had a very good team. So you know, there's a humble side to the way they are too. So I mean, that's a tribute to again, the history, the way they've developed the players, the way they continue to act, right? But you know, so are there things that we all take from that? Yes, there are. You know, but again, great teams don't always look exactly the same either. So that's when things get put to the test. But certainly we all have a lot of respect for what's gone on in Spain in recent years and with some of the top club teams.
Clint, can teams play like Spain? Can clubs play like Spain? Or like Barcelona, I guess? Or is it something that's unique to that group?
Look at Arsenal, they have a good way that they play. Shakhtar, Donetsk, you know, similar. So there are teams in the world that, you know, have that style. But like Bob said, a lot of different teams have, you know, different styles. And it's just about everybody buying into it and working hard to get it done. You know, for example, like United this season. So they just found ways to win games, and you know, there's a lot of different, you know, teams that are good that have different styles, but you know, their style is a beautiful style and it's fun to watch, and you know, but there are other teams that I think try to replicate it.
Makes sense.
Our team has arrived now, so thank you, Bob. Thank you, Clint. Again, we're open the entire session today. You can head back out the way you came in order to get out to the field to watch.